Are you worried about your job security? Or worse, have you been recently terminated? To all of you who have been working in a Chinese company catering to Chinese students, you and I are affected by the recent Chinese regulation for basically banning or putting restrictions on K-12 classes, which basically decreases the number of our K-12 students, students 18 years old and below, reduces our students on the weekend and basically affecting our jobs. So I'm sure many of you are worried or many of you have lost your jobs, and I'm so sorry that this had to happen to you because this is honestly not within the control of our companies. So, on this video, I'll be sharing with you my top 5 recommended ESL companies that are not based in China, that are not catering to Chinese students. If you are looking for job security, of course, it's important that before you apply for any ESL company, you've done your background check and what kinds of students they cater to, what they ask from their teachers, how you're going to get paid. So, those are the things that we're going to be covering on this video. And once again, if you're the teacher who's, losing hope or who's really down, I hope that this video will give you hope, that this video will give you strength. Now, if you're the teacher who'd like to stick to your ESL company, you're the type of teacher who chooses to, accept whatever the company imposes on you, whatever salary deduction you might experience, and you still want to stick with them, then good for you. But my piece of advice is you also have to be practical. Don't only think about your company, but you also have to think of yourself, your loved ones, how you'd be able to pay the bills, your job security. That's why I'm making this video. So, teachers, let's talk about the first company that I'd like to recommend. So, let's talk about Ingo. So, for Ingo, for the salary, what's great about this company is that they pay 60 pesos per 25-minute lesson. So, that's basically 120 pesos per hour. And the thing with this company is, what teachers dislike about this company is that your salary is going to be fixed forever and ever and ever. Like, even though you've been with the company for like 3 years, 4 years, you're still going to be earning 120 pesos per hour. And they will also require you to submit your TIN because you're going to be a taxpayer. Although many Ingo teachers have also posted on YouTube tips on how to file for a tax exemption so that you will no longer have to pay tax. So you also have to take care of the BIR aspect when it comes to Ingo. Now, for the qualifications, if you're 18 years old and above, even though you don't have teaching experience and you don't have TESOL or TEFL certification, well, you can still be a part of their company and you're going to be learning everything you need to learn when it comes to ESL and online teaching from this company. All they're asking is for you to have a neutral accent. When we say neutral accent, you shouldn't sound like you're speaking Filipino or you're speaking your first language, because you're teaching English to other nationalities like this. So you just have to have a neutral accent for you to be able to be an effective ESL teacher. Next up, for the device requirements, it's just the usual actually. Headset, webcam, smartphones are not allowed. Mobile devices are not allowed because what they're asking from you would be your laptop or your desktop. And let me make this bigger. For your high-speed internet connection, this is not really high speed. They just ask 1 Mbps up and download speed. But honestly, teacher, I strongly discourage this internet speed. I believe in the Philippines, almost nobody signs up for 1 Mbps because it's really very slow. So when you're an ESL teacher, my recommended internet speed would be at least 3 Mbps upload and download speed, just for you to do a job well done and for you not to feel stressed in the middle of a class. Now, for the schedule, this is what I love about Ingo. No mandatory work hours. So, in many companies, you have to plot your schedule, and whatever you plot, that's going to be your schedule, whatever your plan is. If there's an emergency and you have to cancel and you have students, you will get a penalty. But for Ingo, they don't have mandatory work hours. And what's great about it is that they have 24/7 operations, which I really like because I'm a night person. So, if you want to work at night, you want to work a graveyard shift, this company is for you. Now, for the the students, mostly they're from Japan, but some students are from Russia, Spain, Taiwan, Korea, and Indonesia, and many more. So the materials are provided. And the reason why I recommend these companies, these 5 companies that we'll be covering today, is because they're legit companies. The companies that I am recommending are those who are already established in the field and they are already known in the industry. They have their own website, they have their digital footprint, and it's very easy to apply in Ingo. All you got to do is just go to their website, ingo.com/app/teach, and then start teaching. Then you just have to simply fill this out, upload an ID, and you just have to go through the video test, the language test, and you're done. So the application process is very easy. When it comes to the video test, I believe how this works is that they're going to be asking you a question, and then you're just going to be answering, and the system's going to record your answers. So the moment you click, teach here or apply now, you have to be ready. You have to have good lighting, a good headset, because there will be a video test. For the language test, it's usually just about subject verb agreement, prepositions, pronouns, and so on. Just the basic stuff that you should know as an ESL teacher. If you fail the language test, then of course you don't have a right. I'm sorry, you don't have the right to be an ESL teacher. Let's respect this job, because you can only be an ESL teacher if you know how to teach English. That's why you also have to study, teachers. Okay, you just have to study, look up the grammar rules on the internet, and do your review. Now let's go back to the next company. Company number 2, we have Nova Kid. For Nova Kid, from the word itself, kid, you're going to be teaching kids. Okay, now what I love about Nova Kid is your salary. Talagang napapakanta ako dahil sa salary. So the salary is $5 to $7 per hour for regular students. But if you're a new teacher, like you're a noob, the students that you're going to get would be trial class students. So these are students who are not really enrolled yet. Therefore, instead of being paid, let's say $5 per hour, you're only going to be paid half, $2.5 per hour. But hello, if you're able to convert those trial classes to regular students, you're going to be getting bonuses. And eventually, as you stay with the company, you're going to be getting more and more regular students. Hello, people. 250 pesos per hour, 245 pesos per hour, that's a lot, because many ESL companies are just paying what? 90 pesos per hour, 45 pesos per hour. Seriously, right? So this is a great company for you to consider. Now, you can withdraw anytime from PayPal. You just have to have a PayPal account. And just as mentioned earlier, on top of the $5 to $7, you have bonuses for successful trial classes and referrals. Now, for the qualifications, because they pay a lot, they also expect a lot from you. So you must have a bachelor's degree. You must have a TESOL, I don't know how to say this, TEFL, Delta, or CELTA, which basically would be certificates for you to be an ESL teacher. I have a TESOL certificate, and I got it from Metro Deal. They honored my TESOL certificate, and basically I just got that certificate for 599 pesos. I took the course, and then they issued a certificate, and voila, I'm certified. And you also have to have minimum 1 year teaching experience with children. Okay, once again, high salary, high expectations, people. For the device requirements, you have to have a headset and a webcam. The webcam should be high definition. You have to have a laptop or a desktop. It has to be Windows 8 and up, and Mac OS 10.10 and up. And for your internet, it has to be really high speed. Yep, 10 Mbps or faster. You know why? Because we're going to be using European servers or Russian servers. So even though, let's say, my internet speed is like 30 Mbps upload and download, when I run my test using the Russian server, my internet was just okay. So that's the reason why they're asking 10 Mbps or higher or faster. Now for the schedule, this is the thing here that I'm not so happy about. You have a fixed schedule. So it's going to be from 2 p.m. Manila time to 3 a.m. the next day, Manila time or Philippines time. You have to give them your preferred schedule, and that's going to be your schedule for the next month. If you need to make changes on your schedule, you have to let them know in advance. And you also have to work 20 hours per week. I'm going to say it again, teachers, high salary, high expectations. Okay? Lahat may kapalit. Now, for the students, it's going to be ages 4 to 12 years old. They're very cute kids, so different from how we Asians look. Mostly are from Russia, Poland, Turkey, Germany, Spain, and other countries. And your materials are provided, and they're very easy to use. They're all web-based, and the interface is very easy to use. What I noticed about NovaKid is that you really have to be independent. You won't have any managers or any supervisors. You have to go through the training by yourself. You have to go through the demo by yourself, schedule the demo on your own. You have to really be, self-sufficient. That's why you gotta watch YouTube videos. You have to learn from your peers because they don't really have like, a trainer is gonna train you for the process. You have to study by yourself and prepare for the demo class. That's it. Now for the website, just like Ingo, they have a super duper legit website. It's very easy to apply here. During the application, you just have to apply with all required materials. The required materials would be usually your resume, your video introduction, and a cover letter. Then, if they are impressed by, let's say, they're impressed by your resume, then you're going to be getting an email back, or email rather, from them. Then you have to take an equipment test, a 30-minute interview, and then you have self-based training and contract signing. So there you go. The website can't be reached because I'm also recording via Zoom, but let it be. Try natin ulit. Okay, I'm gonna click it again. So once more, the usual requirement would be your resume, your video introduction, just about 1 minute. So it's gonna be 20 MB, and then you have to have like a cover letter. So let's give up on this. Now let's continue to company number three. Company number three is Native Camp. So in my recent collaboration with Nanai Jane, we learned a lot about Native Camp. And I actually tried it myself. It's pretty easy and it's pretty amazing. This company is amazing, in my opinion. The salary is 80 pesos to 104 per 25-minute class. This is going to be for your regular students. What's awesome about it is that, 25 minutes, 80 pesos? What? That's like 160 pesos per hour. Imagine Nanai Jane, for example, she's at 104 per 25 minutes. So it's going to be like what, 208 per hour? Huh? Seriously? But the downside is, when you don't have your regulars yet, you're going to start with sudden classes. When it's sudden classes, you're just going to be available and on standby, ready to take classes. And then when a student calls you, then you're going to be having a sudden class, and it's going to be 55 pesos for a 25-minute sudden class. Now, with this, you will have 2 paydays via BPI or PNB, and you must submit 10. You're going to be a taxpayer, and there's going to be like a 10% service charge, a 10% service charge. So let's say your hourly rate is 160 pesos, less 10%. That's going to be your take-home salary. Now, for the qualifications, no degree is required, no TEFL or TESOL required, and you must be at least 20 years old. For the device requirements, you have to have preferably a wired connection, but I got in even though I only have a wireless connection. And they're asking for 2 Mbps. Laptop or PC are the only devices that are allowed. No mobile devices, no iPads, no smartphones. Noise canceling headset and a webcam and a built-in camera would too, just like what I'm using. Right, this is a built-in camera of my MacBook 2017, and this is what I love about Native Camp. Schedule is 24/7, and their peak hours would be usually at night, but their extra peak hours would be 12 midnight until 5 in the morning. So you can work anytime. You can plot your schedule. You can cancel it if there's no student. You can plot today and be fully booked today. What I like about this company is that it's not controlling your life. You're going to be allowed to have a social life, even though you don't work for a week. It's okay. For a month, I think they might deactivate your account and you might need to request for account reactivation. But let's say you're not going to work for 2 weeks. You still have a job. Let's say you want to go to Boracay, but it's a pandemic. Hello, don't travel. But just for the sake of examples, you want to go to Baguio, you want to travel, you want to spend quality time, or you're sick, you won't be able to work in the next 3 or 5 days, then don't plot your schedule. That's it. There's not going to be penalties or anything like that. Not unless there's a class and you cancel it, right? If you cancel it, usually 24 hours before, there's going to be like a penalty. But if it's like 3 or 4 days before the class, then there's not going to be any penalties. So that's what I love about Native Camp. And for the students, mostly are Japanese students, and they're very courteous. I notice they're very courteous. Many students are adults, and all teaching materials are provided. And um, the age range would be 2 to 70 years old, as per Nanai Jane. And with this, what I like about the teaching approach in Native Camp is that it's scripted, not totally scripted. They have this like guide on what you're gonna say, and then how you're gonna be running the course, and you don't have to do knowledge extension. You don't have to teach other things related to the lesson. Like it's mandatory that you stick to the lesson itself. No need to teach other things. Unlike other ESL companies, you got to do knowledge extension. You have to share more and more, even though you're not paid that well, right? So in native camp, you don't have to do knowledge extension. Just stick to the lesson plan. Now, for the website, just have to click on apply now, put your email address, and you're just going to be going through different steps for you to be able to teach. Now, usually you just have to upload your resume, you have to take the language assessment, and you have to take a self-study course. Just like NovaKid, you have to be autopilot here. You have to be independent. You don't have a supervisor. You don't have a trainer. You got to go through the self-study courses. You have to book an interview, and on the spot, you're going to be getting an interviewer. And after you do the self-study, you would have to book a demo class, and it's basically pass or fail, right? So after your self-study, after passing the demo class, you have to like take another self-study course for the, for the basic SOPs. Let's say how to teach this topic, this and that. And after passing, you can start teaching just like that. Now, what I don't like about Native Camp is that sometimes when you are on queue, you have to wait for like an hour or 2 hours before your interviewer shows up. And it's very nakakagulat. Like, okay, the interviewer is here after waiting 2 hours. Okay, demo mode now. So that's what I dislike about it. But, overall, it was like a smooth application process. Now, um, the fourth company that I'd like to recommend would be Webleo. The salary is 100 pesos to 160 pesos per 50-minute lesson, and you must provide your TIN. You will get paid via BDO and BPI, and you must be 18 years old and above. Now, you don't have to have teaching experience, although it is preferred. Now, for the device requirements, they're asking for a 5 Mbps upload and download. And for the device, this is the usual device requirement, Intel Core i3, Windows 10, Mac OS 10.10, preferably wired connection. It's basically just the same. Now, for the peak hours, it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but it's 24/7 as well. Your students would be Japanese students, and they would be kids and adults. And let's check out their website. I haven't really tried applying here, so I don't have much knowledge about this. Therefore, it's going to be just quick. So as you can see, they have a super duper legit website, and all the requirements are here. And they also have like an application map here. You're going to apply, take the grammar test. There's going to be an online interview. You're going to go through training. And so it's like a workshop with a trainer. So unlike Native Camp and NovaKid, wherein it's like self-study. So for independent people, those two companies would be good for you. Now, after that, you could plot your schedule and you'll have your demo class, and then you're going to be endorsed to the actual job. And finally, the last company would be Rare Job. This is where I applied before I became a part of Akatsoc. So Akatsoc is my first ESL company, and I had to choose between Akatsoc and Rare Job. But because Rare Job took like forever to schedule an interview, and Akatsoc was like super quick in responding, I pursued Akatsoc. Now for Rare Job, your salary is 110 per hour. You're gonna get paid by a BPI or PNB, and you must submit your TIN. They accept people who are 18 years old and above, with or without teaching experience. And here's the thing, among my 5 recommendations, this is the strictest one. You are not allowed to work for any ESL companies, because other ESL companies, let's say Akadsoc, for example, you are not allowed to work for ESL companies that they are in competition with. Companies that cater to Chinese market, China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, you're not allowed to work for those companies, just like a 5-1 Talk and so on, Palfish. But if you are, working for European ESL companies, Japanese ESL companies, then that's okay. But for Rare Job, regardless if it's like competing with their market or not, you are not allowed to work for any ESL company. Now, for the requirements, just like the usual, this is like the 5th time that I'm going to mention this. The only difference for Rare Job is that they want you to have an antivirus software, which I don't have. My MacBook Air doesn't have an antivirus software. And so far in my 6 years or 5 years of using it, it hasn't been infected yet. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but Rare Job requires it. And then you have to have at least 3 Mbps up and download speed. And for the schedule, there are no mandatory work hours, right? If you're feeling lazy, then don't work. Now, the peak hours or the working hours would be 6 in the morning until 12 midnight. And you must just open slots every 6 months. See, if you're like super lazy and you're just doing ESL part-time, then this job is for you. And finally, the students would be Japanese, Taiwanese, Korean, kids to adults, and the materials are provided. Now, let's pull up the website. The Rare Job website is pretty easy to use. I like the interface. When I applied here, there's like an English assessment, and then you would have to schedule your interview, you have to schedule your demo, and so on. So the application was pretty easy, but it took them a long time to respond. And by the way, guys, in terms of the application process, the fastest one, in my opinion, would be Native Camp. For NovaKid, it takes a while, but not really a while, maybe 2 weeks to apply. But let's say for Ingo, these have, faster application process. There you have it, teachers, the top 5 companies that I truly, truly recommend. I did my research, and these are the companies that I think would give you job security, would give you, a decent salary, and something that, a company that you could rely on. Now, another piece of advice is if you're working for an ESL company and you're applying to these 5 companies, do not resign yet, okay? Don't get too excited, because when you are just starting out, you're going to be having less students until you eventually, become more known and you get to have more regular students. So don't get too excited. You also have to plan ahead. Is this going to be, working for you? Is it going to be conflicting with your other job, and so on? But in the light of the recent events in China and in Akatok, what I learned there is you should never, ever, ever rely on one ESL company or one job, right? Other than being an ESL teacher, I have a small business. I am an event host. I also do content creation here in YouTube. So you have to have like multiple, streams or sources of income. Now, if you're the ESL type of person, I strongly discourage just, working for one ESL company, because there's no job security. I suggest working for 2 or 3 ESL companies. As long as you can manage your schedule and you're not going to kill yourself, then I think that's going to be the best. So I hope this video help you realize that there are so many opportunities there. Help you realize your value, that you could actually be paid more instead of sticking to whatever salary you were offered on whatever ESL company that you're working for. So we have, this industry. ESL is a big industry, and you don't have to always suck up, all the negativity or all the policies imposed to you. If it doesn't work for you, maybe there's a different company that's meant for you. So, Teacher, I hope this video gave you strength, just it did for me. And I do hope that you'll subscribe to my channel, Teacha Karen. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. And just like what I'm doing for you, I hope you can always be a blessing to the people around you. Lagi po sana tayong magtutulungan. I'm gonna see you next time. Bye-bye.